Guten Abend.
Hello.
I'm not alone, as you can see, and as promised, a dealer's perspective. You know, I did, I think, 3 videos about Discogs, but we've never had the perspective of a dealer who's done it for quite some years right now. When did you start over at Discogs?
15, 16 years.
Okay, 15, 16 years, so way longer than me. And yeah, maybe it helps us, Discogs users, Discogs buyers, to also get a perspective of what it means to sell records professionally over at that marketplace. And of course, as this isn't quite, or as this isn't topic that concerns the most of us, we will heavily involve, whenever possible, the gallery with your questions. We try to answer, or probably Günther tries to answer them all. And yeah, let's start. What 16 years from now on, you are at Discogs. Maybe give us a little overview of your experience at the beginning, the development, and what is today. More problems, less problems, beautiful development.
Or I have to tell straight, 16 years ago, I ran Slow Boy Records. It was a label, a gallery, concert space, and we had a record store. And at this time, the hype wasn't that big or nearly that big as now, the vinyl hype. And so I have to say, the truth is Discogs was helping us save our ass. So we had the big store with, I think, 15,000 records, from cheap to expensive. But it was local, and yeah, you had people coming from all over the world sometimes, but sometimes not, and it doesn't help to pay the bills. And then we started seriously nearly day one with Discogs, and yeah, it saved our ass. It was for us a big help to get a community together, to get the feedback, yeah, and to pay the bills.
Yeah, and I can imagine another effect at that time was that it set the market straight, right? You probably you were surprised about some values in a positive way or a sense, and in a negative sense.
Yes,
right?
Yes. This was the first time I started way longer back with eBay, that you found locally stuff. You were aware it is 5 German marks or 10. Then you put it on eBay, and someone somewhere else in the world paid 150 for it. And it was like, whoa, this is some kind of gold rush or something like this. And this was the second time, but in both directions. Some things, like I was into no wave and new wave stuff, and it was impossible to find the No New York sampler or early Sonic Youth original pressings on neutral records. You couldn't find them in Germany, on German fairs, in German record stores. And I was at this point, when I see the next No New York sampler, I buy it for 100.
No matter what the cost. Okay.
And then now it is like 15 to 25 euros on Discogs, because this was never a rare record. It was on a major label. Brian Eno was the producer, so it was just in Germany hard to find. So it is a kind of globalism that happens through Discogs, but it sets
the
things
world
right.
The world as a village, right?
Yeah.
I think this for sure goes for Discogs.
Yeah.
And how was it at that time? The database, which in my opinion is the core of all of it. The beauty of this vast information source. At that time, it was way less, or how was it at that time?
Yeah, you had often the case that you had something that was not on Discogs, and then you started putting it on Discogs.
So no other choice. You were also one of those who said, okay, no.
Sometimes you had to make the decision. Is it worse? Because it was never easy or an easy game. So I have the biggest kind of respect for all of you who are the loyal database programmers, because it's a user-based website, Discogs, and so I did not that much on database works because I sell records for a living, and this was too much for me. But at this time, it was like Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. There were 20, 30, then 40 or 50 different pressings.
Over 1,500.
Yes. But the problem now is, beside back in the days, you had more communication. I put it at a second press or a not known pressing under a second press and said, different matrix, please ask me, or something like this. So there was, it was smaller. It was really more like a community that is growing. And now it is,
But that's interesting to me and new to me. You said for a record store, it was from day one a very interesting alternative, and from day one something very, very important to grow and survive as a record store in 2007, 2008.
Yeah. Yes. It was before the hype. Yeah. We talk about other times. We had records for 50 euros, standard records that were 30 euros. They are now 300 or 500, and you cannot find them cheap anymore. And back in the days, there were no one coming like, you have it, Joy Division, Unknown Pleasures, first UK pressing, red translucent vinyl, I need it. You had it on the wall for 100 and nobody cared. So it was a different time. So we had seriously a community of followers and customers that came in every once a week or once a month, but it was not enough to keep this thing alive. So Discogs was good for us, and I still love it.
How large, how big do you think is the influence from Discogs when it comes to the vinyl hype? You think it's strongly connected to Discogs in a way?
I asked myself the same question, and I have actually no idea. I think Discogs was at the right time, at the right place. As we said before, it is a user-based website, and the founder and the team behind Discogs was more into having a discography of everything. So the shop came later. So it was an idealist thing, not for commercial. I think maybe there are different powers going on, making this hype growing.
Of course.
And Discogs was one of them. Yeah,
I agree. I can imagine, because as a collector, and now we are talking about the database part, it's invaluable for me. I mean, putting up the collection is just beautiful, and such a huge help. And what you have said, that it puts the market straight in a way, and this is really a rare one. And no, this is only in Düsseldorf a rare one, and not in New York City. That's a very important part. But here, Fester's uncle, I can love Discogs one day, hate it the next day. I think this is very well put. And I think the hate part is mainly when it comes to the marketplace, right? In a way. Can you understand that?
Yeah, I definitely understand that. But I tell all of you, Discogs is not the seller. Discogs is the marketplace, and you have to look really careful from whom you are buying and what you are buying. And it is like you have to study to find out a real nice priced, near mint condition record that is also well packed and insured or tracked, shipped, and everything like this. It's not that easy. And so there is a lot of frustration. And this is, I think, also because of many people have 100% feedback, but they do not 100% good work. So you have to read between the lines, like everywhere. It's with eBay the same, it's everywhere the same. You have to see there is a person you buy something from. Is he trustful? Does he know how to grade? And at this point, you cannot blame Discogs. Maybe they can raise the standards or
there are certain points I think they can improve.
Okay,
but let me get it, because I didn't hear that for the first time. You have to be careful. You have to do your checking and look at this and look at this and look at that and look at that. Okay. When your wife now goes to the grocery and she comes back with oranges instead of apples because the lady behind the discounter put on purpose oranges. Did you check the grocery before you entered? Have you talked to your sister if this is really a trustworthy grocery?
I would blame the supermarket and buy my woman glasses.
Yeah, but you know my point.
Yes, sorry.
Yes, imagine there is someone like me who just wants to buy a record, and then there is a record, and they say this is near mint, and the jacket is near mint with a missing edge. No, I'm just kidding. but yeah, and then that's what I want to get. I don't want to get like a detective and see, is he trustworthy? Of course, I try my best, but even if you look at it, and again, I showed you and we talked about examples, even if you look carefully, it goes wrong too often. And I think that's where Discogs has to improve.
Yes.
And I can imagine that this is also difficult for a dealer like you, because the customers send me photos, send me another photo, send me your passport.
Please play the record for me.
Please play the record, send me your whatever, your tax valuation. So
I understand the point, and you are completely right. I think there are just only two options where you can work this out in general. You can maybe put a stronger feedback, a security system on the feedback. I don't know how this should work. And on the other hand, you should check, and this is not to, I'm a professional seller, I'm a business seller, but during the pandemic and even before, Discogs rise 3 times higher, and there were so many private sellers, and everybody in the game knows best. This is with record collecting. Since I am in the game, you have a customer who is for 1 or 2 years in the business or collecting or whatever, he knows better than you. So you see a lot of records offered 40 times, 50 times.
Yeah.
And I, for myself, want a good price, or as a dealer, I need a good price for reselling. So I try often to get a cheap opportunity. And then when you don't want to pay for a 100 euro record 100 euros, you think you want to pay 60 euros, then you go to a private seller or to someone with 0 feedback, then there is a risk.
Yes, yeah, that's true. That's true.
When you go to a business account and you see he has all classical terms and everything is safe, you pay 100, then you're safe. So the risk is always when you want it cheap, in my opinion. And so
what you now say, I exactly did it this time. When I heavily got into 90s vinyl, and I did exactly what you just suggested. Sorry, but my experience is different. Roughly 60% of the records have been overgraded, sometimes ridiculously overgraded. I paid high prices. I didn't discuss. I just looked how many ratings, how long, what. I even looked at some comments, how he reacted to them, and still I got a record that was unacceptable.
And what was the reaction when you mailed the seller?
Differently. Mostly they deny. I don't do mistakes, which is a strange sentence. Everybody of us does mistakes. Sometimes, and that's what really makes me angry. Then they say, okay, I give you 20 euro back. And I said, no, I don't want to have 20 euro back. I want a near mint record. I don't want to have it 20 euros cheaper.
This is, in my opinion, not correct. You can give 2 or 3 options, and you made the mistake. So you have to live with what your customer decides. You will lose anyway. So I made this myself because I also made mistakes. That I say you have 3 options. Keep it with a discount. We can discuss what is the partial discount depending on my grading mistake, or you send it back, and I of course pay return shipping, so a full refund plus return shipping, or sometimes there are third options. I don't know, this is from case to case different, but in any way, if I make the mistake, I have to swallow the frog, and my customer is right. And it is with my business not that often the case, but when and they return it, I often have to say like, okay, but I handle thousands and thousands of records, and here I was lazy with grading, I made a mistake. So on top, I mostly say, I'm really sorry, I waste your time with my laziness. You got your money back, the return shipping. When you want to come back next time, remind me, and you get a discount for a different possible new order. But on the other hand, grading is always a thing that changes between you and me and this seller and this collector and this and this. So I think what Discogs and everybody has to agree with is that there is no emotional or subjective kind of grading. Grading is strict. There is not a VG plus that is so big from here to here.
Exactly.
VG plus is really, really a straight grading. Yeah. And I often hear when they buy VG plus from me, oh, I had sellers who graded it near mint. Like, no, that is wrong, and this makes no sense. It is a VG plus record. Don't expect from me I sent you mint. It's VG plus. But you have to learn, and that is what I say when you buy from a private person. Yeah. They are new in the game. Yeah. How do they know?
Exactly.
Yeah. And sometimes you see also in the positive feedback, I read then. Yeah, 100% feedback. Okay, 100%. This is strong. Then I read like, hey, okay, thanks. Like, oh, nobody takes really care about the grading. Yeah. So okay. They were like, I don't want trouble. It's okay. Give him a positive. He needs it because he can do better. I don't know. Okay. And if you see a seller has really, really emotional feedback, like, hey, this guy, good communication, really perfect packaging. I need the sentence in the grading, good packaging, good communication, easy to deal with. Yeah. Because this is never a lie. You don't do that.
That's true.
Yeah. So there's a difference. That's true. Yeah. There's a difference. And
another thing that occurs quite often, in my opinion, is maybe there is a reason. Maybe you can shed a light on this one. I have a near mint grading, and then in the description the downgrading starts. Yes. This is a problem too, isn't it?
No.
No?
Maybe it's my weak point and you will all blame me for this. I do this myself.
Okay.
But for a few reasons. If I have a record, I would say, wow, super shiny, super clean, super nice copy. Normally, it is on the near mint side. Then I want the attention of the buyers who want a near mint. Yeah. And then I say, hey, careful, big letters. It is near mint for the record, but excellent for the cover because of. So I specify. And then you can decide. Sometimes I do it like near mint VG plus, and then I say, but it's excellent to get your intention for maybe near mint, but then you see it's excellent, and I describe it. So
again, this excellent term is for me also always confusing. Now all of a sudden it's excellent. It's not VG plus, it's not near mint, it's excellent.
Yeah, I use this because I think on Discogs and on other platforms, VG plus is a burnt grading. Yeah. It's totally fucked. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Because so many people use it from total trash to, okay, yeah, maybe it plays good. I give it a VG plus. VG plus, it's a really strong grading. It must be a really, really nice cover and a really nice record with super minor defects or seam wear or a nicked corner, a bent corner or something like this. So I use excellent, what mostly comes from the United Kingdom, to say to them it's a VG plus tending to near mint and not to VG.
Okay.
For me, VG plus is never VG. because then I graded VG. Yeah, but to give the people an idea who are really confused about VG Plus in general, this is an on top VG Plus. I could do other, like some people use numbers, like it's a 9 from 10, but then it starts like it's a different grading system. What is a 9 from 10? Yeah. So yeah.
I think Andreas Schmidt, sometimes it could be tricky because it is optical grading, VG++, whatever plus then means, maybe X, right? Which can sound no too good, VG. So usually you do a visual grading, right? And that's what we have on Discogs, right?
I think so, because I handle at the moment, like on all my databases, like 10,000 records.
Yeah.
And to listen to all of them from the beginning to the end, maybe with headphones to check if there is a click, it's impossible. So I give optical advice for grading, but I'm really long in business. I have a good feeling when I see the grooves. If they are near mint, yes, but are they shiny? Will they play clean? You have some cases where you have an unbelievable clean mint copy.
Yeah.
And there is a pressing mistake that the groove clips or pops or something like that. You cannot see it. So it's my mistake. Return it to me. I'm sorry for this.
But a used record with a pressing with the pressing mistake is not mint? No?
In my opinion, not. It depends on how bad it is. It can goes down to good, plus, or fair, or something like this. Because for me, it makes no sense. I'm also a collector, to tell all of you. Yeah, so
first and foremost, in a way, because maybe for those of you who see Günther for the first time now, he's here on the third time, by the way, already. This all started because you are a vinyl.
Yes.
Maniac.
Yes. Yeah. So it is not possible for most of us to play grade the records.
Yeah.
But with me, it is like if there is a price going higher and higher, they are of course play graded. Mostly after it is ordered. Then I clean it. Supersonic clean it. Then I play it, and then sometimes I have to say, oh, I found out it plays only like this. Is it still interesting or not? And then I can cancel without any hard feelings. Or he says, okay, give me a kind of refund, and I take it, or whatever.
What do you say to Photoram? I don't agree that grading is subjective. It's all about education. There are too many people who are basing their grading on what others say instead of basing it on something like Goldmine.
Oh, you misunderstood. I never said that grading is subjective. I think most people think that. There are standards. And if you have in your seller terms, you grade with Goldmine, you should know what Goldmine is. And maybe you also read about it. So I don't give Goldmine standards. I think mostly my clients or customers give me the feedback that you can see this now seriously know how to grade a record. So near mint has sometimes in the description it is not maybe unplayed, or it looks mint but it's not sealed. So you are never on the wrong side. So but it's not subjective. It is an objective scale. You have to decide which one you choose, if it is Goldmine or something else. And
we have to answer this question for Barry, Dr. Winston O'Boogie, because I think he's after this one for years and he has never seen one or found one. Günther, have you ever seen a near mint pill metal box?
Yes, I sold one 3 months ago, but I have to tell straight, I have a Japanese client, also a seller who is a really legend, called Taro. He said to me, wow, you have a near mint one, show me pics. I showed him pics. He said, oh, thank you, I don't need it. Because he's a legend. He has seen it all. So for him, it was not near mint enough. But then I sold it to another serious collector, and he was like, wow. It was inside untouched. Outside it was no fingerprints, no oxidation. But originally there was stripes closing it for some stores. They closed it with Tesa. And this was with my copy. There were stripes removed, and you had at this point a little bit of oxidation that was not removable. So
not mint.
So in my opinion, near mint, because it was like it was meant to be. And I totally hate myself for selling it, because at this moment I was not that sure about, is this so rare and good condition? Nobody played this record.
Ask Winston or Boogie. He knows how rare it is. Is it okay? Or would you like to share the price you sold it for, or is that?
Yes, it's no problem. I asked 300 for it, and I got 280, I think.
That's not that much.
Yeah,
I thought, because I know Barry's always talking about it, I thought this is a grail, but still, of course, you can also have a grail. That is not that.
I bought it for a price that this was good to resell, and I decided not to keep it because it is round, and I was not knowing how to put it in my record collection. So, yeah, oh my God, I'm sorry, Winston.
But maybe if you get one, we think of Barry now. So, see, very good price. Okay, now we've lost a little track. Okay, Discogs, grading, Goldmine standard, and the problems with the grading as a not so sincere topic for some of the sellers. But let's go. Because I've heard from several dealers now that they are under the impression that Discogs also has serious technical problems when it comes to the marketplace. A lot of scams, professional scams, who creates thousands of accounts a minute and stuff like that. Does this reflect on your Discogs experience too, as a seller?
First of all, as a buyer, it makes me totally tired, because opening my want list is a highlight every 10 times a day. So checking if there is something I want, and then seeing a ghost created account has 500 of my top ones, always for 80 euros or 80 US dollars.
What is this?
I have no idea. I asked my support, and they said in general there are heavy what it is called, everywhere in the world there are hackers who make ghost accounts and stuff like that, but they could not really help me out, and it makes me a little bit nervous, because a few of my customers also get confused and stop buying on Discogs. And to be really, really honest, I checked now, since this happened nearly 10 times a day, sometimes it feels like this. I stopped buying, and I have not half of my purchases now that I have 3 months ago.
Okay.
So it makes me a bit, it is more like, what is going on there? They cannot fix it. They cannot handle it. They do not talk to us. I'm a platinum seller. This was the highest standard from the beginning on, and I made seriously good deals, and my old company and my new one maybe helped also to invite Discogs, and maybe, So I was expecting more communication and also more help, but there is nearly nothing. They said now for the second time they will check new accounts, but I open every time I want list, and I'm confused, and I'm a little bit anxious. Does this going on, or can they fix it? So
I don't know if I understood it correctly. So there are all of a sudden accounts, sellers, who has your copies?
No. It is opening your want list. Is if you go through Discogs and you say the pillbox, I want this, and you put it in your want list. Click it on want, and when you in the next morning go on check my want list, then you see if copies of the pillbox are newly available. And sometimes I collect like Sunra or a Ken Monster movie or something like this, then you have 10 copies of Ken Monster movie for $80.
Okay.
A ghost seller with
Get me
zero,
one.
with zero feedback, and
Okay.
I don't know what is going on there. But mostly, what makes me really confused is that it seems they cannot fix this.
Yeah.
So I'm not a programmer, so I have no idea about the database in general, but it is a weak point.
This is how Russia pays its shoulder. This guy is stunty. Good point. Yeah. Yeah. So this technical problems are also evolving, and I can imagine, and I have made a similar experience 2 weeks ago with my advertising agency. This KIs, this AIs that are coming, ChatGPT, who writes the code for you to do this kind of scams. They really have to be careful, in my opinion, that they keep track with them and that this doesn't get too far out, I can imagine.
I think the same, definitely. But I think we have different kind of sellers on Discogs. So they double checked me or triple checked me now. I need my VAT number, my tax number. I need my I have also the star for my physical brick and mortar store for my record shop. And so you see, with me or other venues, you are safe. I think this is also not the point. You are not stupid. You don't think you get a monster movie first press in mint 20 times from the same seller for $80. But what is going on there? And why didn't they check all their accounts and say, we close this as long as you don't put your identity card on or something like this, that you're a real human. Close everything till they bring a proof they are real humans. Because for me it is a thing. Wow, I'm a little bit nervous.
You're nervous.
I live from selling on Discogs for like 60-70% or 80% sometimes. I love Discogs. I love the database. I buy there, I sell there. I'm really happy with the community, and I don't want that someone taking over or destroying it. So I hope they can fix it soon.
What would be your big wish to Discogs? What is your thinking? What is your suggestion how to fix it? This making sure that this is a real person. You think that would be the key for improvement?
I think, from my experiences, that Discogs was growing too fast with buyers, sellers, and accounts. Accounts who doesn't sell or buy, just like on Instagram or Facebook, zero accounts. I don't know. So I think, and my wish is that Discogs gets more support for everybody. Yeah, real person in life working for Discogs, helping the platinum sellers, helping the normal sellers, helping with support and something like this. I have a good support. I have to say straight, as a platinum seller, I don't wait that long. I have a personal. I have a real person I can contact. But that doesn't help. We have to fix this in general. We have to be on the safe side with this, because when they do this, what happening is right now, what can they do tomorrow? This is my question. And I need Discogs for a living.
Exactly.
Should I start checking something else? Because I don't want to sell on other platforms. I stopped selling on eBay because I don't like eBay and their support and their grading standards and everything, and their feedback standards. As a seller, you are there like, you have no rights and nothing anymore. And they have it's called Treuhand Konto for the money and stuff like this. I don't like that. So I stopped eBay after nearly 10 years. So,
would you disagree when I say that the main part, the database, which has been done by a group and a growing group of people, that has in a way nothing to do with Discogs, works perfect, and Discogs part, which is in a way the marketplace, this comes from Discogs directly, no 100,000 of person who builds it. This sucks. or would you say no? That's too harsh. That's wrong.
I see this more difficult because I think also with the database there is a lot going wrong. I had many discussions, and I really know much about the music I like. I collect for 25 years, and then a younger person came who has more grading stars and says, "Yeah, you're not right. I put this picture of this is not the right pressing," and I say, "Hey, I know better, but this is what a database like Wikipedia or Discogs is.
Yeah.
There are different opinions, and you have to find
To discuss
finger points. So
yeah.
there are weak points, and there is a really strict system I don't like that much. The discussions, I don't have the time. I don't like it. This is wrong. I don't have the time to discuss for a matrix number, something like this. But for me, Discogs was mostly good. So they during the pandemic, they helped me out. They helped every seller with a real record store. They helped them they gave them money, gave them some fees back. I think that was 300 or 400 US dollars on you get because you have a real record store. So they promote it.
Yeah, that was an amazing gesture.
I love this. Even if during the pandemic my business was growing, I was like, hey, they're taking care of. So I cannot blame them. But I have not too much knowledge about the back side of programming and this. So
an idea from 333. Discogs need to educate sellers towards grading. What do you think of that idea, that they give them stuff to how to grade? I think this is not bad.
Maybe a good idea. I don't know if it is possible in real life, but
so that the standard of the grading get more. I think the lack of consistency is a big problem, right?
Yes. When you are on a record fair or in a record store, you have it in your hand. You can objective or subjective decide, this is for me, my copy. I would say it is enough on the near mint part to get it. On Discogs, it's not possible. You don't have real life photos like on eBay or anywhere else. So this makes it wrong or right. So and then you often know you are on a record fair like, Nirvana, never mind, European first pressing, and you look at it, it's 60. And then the seller came over like, it's a perfect copy. And with your eyes closed, you see, no, it's not perfect. There are many defects. And the seller is starting like, you will never see this in better condition. Like, wow. For me, at this point, I'm out. Thank you. Yeah, you're not my man. So, and when then you find out he has a Discogs account with 5,000, then you can imagine what he's doing.
Exactly.
Maybe he has a good, what it is called, management for fucked up deals or something like this. So I don't know.
Good point. It doesn't mean that in reality you don't have any problems. That's a very good point. True. Okay, let's see if we find some questions or. Yeah, but that also goes, Jeremy, that also goes to the education of the grading, that you don't do it with shady light, right?
Maybe Discogs could do more like they have at the starting site, they sometimes have a story or something to tell. Maybe they more often say, please go through this kind of grading. And then they explain you need daylight, you need clean fingers, don't touch on the vinyl. I don't know.
Ryan has a good point, I think. What if Discogs used AI to ask a series of questions about what the record and the jacket, and they determined a grade based on the answers? I think that's also a very good idea, that you answer questions from Discogs, and then Discogs does the grading. Or maybe think about it. Maybe let's be a bit crazy here. You know, this skin scanners. Let have a scanner, and then Discogs does the grading. I think this would be a perfect solution for a consistent grading. For a consistent grading, it would be, because, you know, seriously, For a 60-year-old record, this is near mint. I often have heard that.
Feels uncomfortable to me because
The
I
scanning?
think we don't have to forget that vinyl is analog, even if
Okay, good
Discogs
point.
is digital. I'm a generation who grow up analog. I have to decide if I love or leave digital life. I'm a mixture. I hate it. I love it. I love Discogs. I hate Discogs. I love my record store. I hate my record store. So blah, blah, blah. We have too much to decide. So we are in a good point of view. But I think if you have your eyes and your ears open, you can always find the right record from the right seller, because there are so many good ones working. I have so many accounts I follow on Discogs. When they have the records I want, I have no question I buy them.
That's probably a very, very important and good point. What I have always done so far is I want FX Twin, selected ambient works, first pressing now. And then I look for the record. Who has it? And then I check the dealer. But maybe you have to have your pool of trusted dealers.
Yes.
And look, what do they have?
And here we have, in my opinion, the weakest point on Discogs.
Yeah.
They do not support the platinum, or they produce their best sellers.
What is the best seller? They have their ranking, their reviews.
Yeah, but you see, Discogs has, I think they track everything, which is his price range, which is his condition range, which is his feedback. They also send me an email like, you have a really good, I don't find the word, I have a good trouble management. So they said it's super nice how you even
they track
with
that.
It seems so. They said to me, it is because they gave me it was a few years back, they gave me the platinum standard, what was the highest range, because they said they checked all my disputes and your handling with this was so fine. And so we are happy to have you. So they know more than, it's like with Facebook or Instagram, they know a lot about you. They can track your personal message boards. You see this when you are a member. You agree with this. Your personal message board is always trackable or readable from Discogs. And so they can easily find out who are their best sellers, and then they can start promoting them. They did that in the past with me, so I want to tell this. I made an interview about my shop and about my life, like we do this here. I had this on Discogs. This was a great commercial for me. But the point, how to find me. I have a lot of customers in the store, and they say, I want also to buy in your store and on Discogs. And then I have to explain them how to find a user on Discogs. You have to put this and this, and
that's complicated. That's true.
And that makes totally no sense.
That's true.
So
that's true.
So I think they should work on this. That you have a friends list, you can put it on your friends, but you can also not write something on your friends list.
But it's still clumsy. It's still clumsy.
They have to work on this. That you can say, this is account from Günther, I bought many times before. So you have to, you know how.
Wait a second. Okay,
now which people you deal with.
I want to get into two comments, one from Dane Johnson and then Stunty. Let's start with Dane Johnson. Michael, would it not be improved if Discogs allowed sellers to upload photos on the actual record they are selling? My take would be yes, but I think it would explode the traffic of Discogs, and I think that's the main problem.
Yeah, and for me, it's not possible. I seriously have not the time. My business is at this point I have one employee, myself. I cannot handle more. And I have
how many records do you have on Discogs? So
I have only 5,000 on record.
Only 5,000. Yeah, imagine the jacket, the inner sleeve, side 1, side 2, maybe side 3, side 4.
Yeah.
So that this would make, let's say average 4 photos. This would make 20,000 photos.
And then we can do another YouTube video about how sellers should make photos of their record.
Exactly.
And then we talk the same.
Because then Günther can come to me and said, Michael, I have 5,000 records here. Please make them look mint. I said, no problem.
Yeah, this is a good point, Michael. This is a good point, because everybody of us knows sometimes you think like, whoa, this picture, the record looks even better than it is. And we all had this on eBay before. Yeah. So we all had this on eBay. It looked amazing. You said it's near mint. Then it comes like, this is not the record I saw. Yes, it's a record you saw. This guy was a professional photographer. So, yeah. So even on Instagram, you see a lot of people showing their collections. I love this. I also do the same with my account. And you see, I sold them a record that was VG. He put it on Instagram, and it looked near mint.
Sorry, Harry. I really tried to see all the comments. So again, what is Günther's Discogs name? What is your Discogs name?
Minty minus vinyl. Minty vinyl.
MINTY.
Minus vinyl.
Sorry if I have overlooked that, Harry. Okay, Stunty. The problem is that even if you're not interested in those, there still is a huge market for records in lesser condition than VG+. Few people would throw them in the trash. Yeah,
I have my boxes in my shop for this, like €2, €3, €5, €10. And the younger people, they start collecting, or are yet now 12, 15 years old, come with their parents and they say, Kate Bush for €5, killer. Yeah, it's a VG minus record. But for me, it makes no sense to put it on Discogs.
Yeah, of course. Okay, Minty. Yeah, exactly, Harry. Right? The Discog, yeah. Okay. And Nadine even put a link now to your Discogs. Oh.
But I'm not good at soul and funk, Nadine.
Still not, right? Still not. Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, maybe until we grab more points to discuss, you will see, finally, you will see Günther more often here on my channel. I'm quite happy that he is more and more open to it. Yeah, the next one is about a very special artist, right? Let's give a little preview. Who is this? Sun Ra. Because Günther has I think it's safe to say, unbelievable Sun Ra collection. And in the next video, we would love to discuss the artist, how difficult it is to collect. It's different than any other artist to collect, so as far as I understand now.
Yes.
And we want to discuss this, the life of him, the music.
And how joyful it is to collect him, to listen to it, the mystic, the man.
And I promise Günther will show records that are, once in a lifetime, right? Sometimes.
I agree. There are a few more collectors who have bigger collections than me, and they have everything. I'm not complete or something like this, but I can show you, I think, stuff that is even not on eBay, not on Discogs, that is not available for a long time, and
we can't wait for.
But I will also show you how to start maybe collecting Sun Ra, and depending on what you like, Sun Ra was from harsh orchestral free jazz to soul, funk, jazz. He was master of everything. So yeah, I can explain maybe a little bit and help you start or find out what you like.
I can imagine that this is quite worth mentioning. Sun Ra Records live in Germany, right?
But it took me years, it took me money, and don't forget, I started this also before the hype.
Almost also 20 years ago, 20 years ago, you started collecting it, right?
Yeah, it was the advice of a German, of a Texas punk legend called Tim Kerr. We had them in the Slowboy Gallery as an artist and as a musician. He was a founder member of the Big Boys, a Texas punk band. And he said to me, he sold everything, all Misfits originals, all his records to buy Sun Ra. And I was like,
Where
Oh,
are
man.
the?
Are you crazy? You had from Glenn Danzig signed original silkscreen
Wow.
posters. You sold them for what? For Sunra, and then he played it to me, and it was like, he's crazy. He's totally crazy. But then I was like, maybe
He's right.
I start.
Okay, and then that
Looking-
was the starting point.
Yeah, then we had some lucky, but long time before.
We will go.
Yeah.
We stop now because we will go in depth into Sandra, which will be a very special video. And yeah, let's get back for another 10 minutes to the Discogs topic. Let's see if there are other questions. That's a funny question. Michael and Günther, a Neil Young video would be great. Günther looks like a Neil Young fan.
I have a Fat Gadget sticker, but okay. No, I love Neil Young. I'm not a fan. Like I don't have much records, but I think he also made a lot of songs who are the soundtrack of my life. Yeah. So
yeah, but he's a fantastic artist.
Yes.
Up until today,
he's
is
a fantastic character.
I'm a bit devastated right now because I bought at least 2 months no Neil Young record because there is no new Neil Young. Important. He announced a beautiful upcoming box set of records which hasn't been available for a long time, and we will get into this, of course. Okay. Barry. Günther, will you let me know if another metal box comes along?
Be sure. The next one that is in near mint will go to the OBC or through Michael.
And then Barry. Yeah. Next time, Günther, what's your storefront name on Discogs? It's Minty minus Vinyl. Okay. What else? Any questions? If not, Günther is amazing. His dedication to his hobby of ours is second to none. Yeah, you remember
Thank you.
Liam in Den Bosch, of course. Yeah.
Thank you, Lionel.
Okay. Good. Any final thoughts on Discogs? Anything you wanted to add that we may not have discussed yet?
What I always think in life in general, also with collecting, let's keep this together. Let's try to stay friendly. There is always, when there is a problem, there's a solution. And when a seller has a bad day and behaves like an asshole, you have all the rights and all the possibilities to show this on the feedback. So don't be anxious to give him a negative feedback, or even contact Discogs or PayPal if there is a fraud or
real trouble. Yeah.
Real trouble. But I think in general, mostly all of us, or many love music and are in this game because they know both sides, buying and collecting. We had really difficult times. We have them already with the war and with the pandemic and stuff like this. So sometimes people are more nervous, or in general, I don't know. Give them a second chance. So try to work.
Everybody, you said that once to me, Michael, calm down.
Yeah.
Everybody makes mistakes. I said, yeah, you're right. Michael, you need to work on your English compared to Günther.
Oh no.
And fantastic words of wisdom.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Günther, thank you very much for joining us. We will see us again. Thank you for your time. Have a great Saturday evening.
Thanks for your time all.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.